Welcome to Joygasmic Shorts, a power-packed experience to give you the best out of our interviews. If you're back for more, remember to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. It helps us reach more people and create our shared dream of an enlightened planet. Thank you so much. Enjoy the short. Oh, I was just going to ask you more about, you mentioned meditation, and I know a lot of people really struggle with making that a practice, and your face just lit up like it was something really beautiful that was really sustaining to you in your life. So I just wanted to hear more about that and maybe some of the challenge that you had in terms of making that a practice and what you're doing that's working for you now.
Yeah, I mean, I think my face lit up because I feel like I've been kind of half asleep, more than half asleep for the majority of my life. And so when you discover new things like, meditation or, I try and wild swim, if I can get in the cold sea, or I have cold showers, and, I do all sorts of things now as a daily practice because I had mental health issues. So because I didn't know what to do about it, and in the past I'd been put on drugs and stuff, and I knew I didn't want to do that. So I just sort of learned and researched, and now I have this thing. I have these rituals. So I'll wake up, I'll do the meditation, I'll do something called 5 Tibetan rites, which is a series of exercises, and then I'll have a cold bath or a cold shower. And, so there's things that I put in place to help me stay mentally well. But all this stuff is it's come about over the last probably sort of 4-5 years, and it's like you said, you mentioned this word journey, and I know it's kind of overused, but you just got to remain curious, haven't you? You've just got to constantly remain curious, open-minded. And I just think I've spent more than half my life asleep. So what was I doing? What a waste. I sort of sometimes feel slightly regretful, but you can't do that, obviously.
That's
and again, we do
talk.
Yeah, we've put things out on. We've got a little YouTube channel, and we put things out around mental health, and you can use creativity to affect the challenges. And we've done a number of events actually on mental health and creativity as well. Have been very sort of successful in terms of engaging people. So yeah, I would recommend, if you've got any kind of slight sort of issues around depression or anxiety, that rituals are really important. And one of my theories around that is because we have humanity, sapiens have lost the kind of idea of any kind of spirituality, and we've been moved into this sort of the church of consumption. People go shopping now, don't they, on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday, whatever, depending on what religious belief your family might have been. And so we've all been pushed into this sort of consumption world. And we've also been pushed into the idea of that we're all individuals. And I believe that individualism is killing our society, and worse still, destroying our planet. And so getting back involved, because my parents were deeply religious, very disturbingly, in part of some kind of weird thing called the Plymouth Brethren. I was so anti anything like meditation or any kind of organized religion that I kind of pushed it down, and it's only now that I'm kind of returning to it, and it's obviously not associated with a belief system like that. It's much more just a kind of general idea of the universe and spirituality. But yeah, it's taken me decades to get there, sadly. But better late than never.
Yeah, and that's part of what happens when we have really challenging childhood experiences with strong dogmatic belief systems, right? I don't know the specifics of your journey, but a lot of people are like, oh, my parents were so whatever that is, and so they really push away from it. And then I think it's really common. I watched my dad come back to his faith journey in his 50s. I pushed away from our
Oh,
childhood faith for many, many years, and but I think more than age, it might actually be related to the time that we're in. There's so many people who mark sort of like 2009 to 2012 as a window where they started noticing these things, or the last 2 or 4 years where they're like, huh, it seems like, and things sort of open up. There's some interesting theories around the actual planet and our whole solar system moving through different
yeah.
frequencies in the solar system, in the galaxy. It's like we're moving through a
Yeah.
higher energy level, like more bombardment by solar rays, and it's like changing the way people think. And you're just like, huh, like that's pretty wild to think about, that maybe, as much as it's our own journey, we're also going through this collective journey as well. How do you feel like that's impacted you? Do you feel like that resonates with your experience and your story?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that we're becoming more conscious. I really hope that we got to wake up. Well, the whole planet's got to wake up. I sort of think this whole COVID thing is Mother Nature giving us a good boot up the bottom. That we can't keep consuming and living and in this wasteful, awful, terrible, misguided way. We've got to become more conscious, and I really hope that is happening. I mean, a friend of mine who's a yoga teacher, back in 2010, 11, was saying this is the age of Aquarius, and was talking to me about all this stuff that I had no idea what it was about, and I'd just go, yeah, yeah. And I still don't know anything about it, but I'm very happy to accept that is happening and for that to be truth, and bring it on is what I say. More of these wake up calls. I know that sounds awful and it's terrible if anyone has lost a member of their family and not being able to say goodbye, and all the tragedy that evolves. But unless we wake up, unless we change our behaviors, we're not going to have a future. I mean, that's science. So if you've got to look at big picture. You really do. We've got to really change our behavior, and really fast. But I don't want to dwell on the negative. It's all possible, right? And what you said, where there's an issue, there's an opportunity.
100%. 100%.
We've got billions of issues. Let's make billions of opportunities. I quite like that thought.
Yeah, I love it.
On a big mission to end family trauma in this generation, and so I'm working with conscious moms to create a powerful change where we can become bulletproof, where we have no triggers, where our children cannot touch us no matter what they throw at us, so that we can be the kind of moms that we needed and the kind of moms that we want to be for this new generation, so that we can end rape, we can end trauma, we can end neglect, we can end sexual shame, we can end consumerism, we can end screen addiction, we can end all of these things by how we choose to parent and how we show up in the world. So I invite you to be here on this journey with me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the other side. So get your name and email in that box and join me on this journey. It's going to be an incredible 7 days where you are guided every day to understand how to create better habits, how to not give up, and how to implement this 60-second hack to rewire your brain so that you know that no matter what's happening, you'll come back to a loving place fast. I love you. I'll see you on the other side.